Welcome to the Storage Room, where imagination meets unfiltered conversation. All right, today's guests are Rob, aka Speedbag Spidey, Johnathan, aka Chappell for Life, Brandon, aka Speedbag and B, and Mike Grewcock, aka Speedbag and Ox. Jeff, I'll pass it on to you, man.
You know, one of the reasons why I want to have this show today was because you guys, each one of y'all, have had major influences on the direction of my speed bag career. Every one of you. And this is an kind of like an homage, a thank you for all that y'all have done, because seriously, y'all don't know how much you've helped me. A lot of times it's just been that voice back there saying, dude, you can do it. Honest to God, Chappell's one of those dudes that I have been so mad before when I was like, fuck this. And Chappelle's like, ain't no big deal. Don't worry about it. You know, and seriously, I'm like, yeah, he's right. And I calmed down, you know. Now, I didn't have a Chappelle when I met Rob. And the first time that I met Rob was the video. You know what I'm talking about? The video. Everybody's heard about it. And this is not your chance to defend yourself, but I want you to put your words into your thoughts when you see this video, your thoughts of like, however you want to say it, because I'm going to say how I felt when I saw the video for the first time. So Juan, show the video.
You got it.
Going to town, ball lands in his lap. I mean, seriously, how do you catch the ball?
That's up. Like, what happened?
That's the thing I was shocked about the most is how the fuck did I catch that thing? Like, it ricocheted off the wall, then bounced off the floor, and then into my hands. I was like, how the fuck did that happen? Then, wait, what the fuck happened here? Like, there was just so many things going on. I didn't know.
But the look, it was that look, dude. It's like you just look up and they're like, what the fuck? And you're just looking so curious, just like you were. And I get this video and I'm like, I'm even going, what just happened? Rob, I want my money back.
Yeah.
It was that easy.
Not my proudest moment, but
it was hey, this is me as a brand new maker. I spend a lot of time. I even sent you videos of how I was making it, right? And I usually did that for people. As I'm making it, I'm kind of posting on Instagram how I'm making it and stuff. And so I put all this time into this swivel, and it's just a plastic Hobby Lobby swivel. And I send it off to Rob, and this is the video I get back. And I'm like, so crushed.
And I'm just like, did I just get fucking hustled right now? Is that what happened? Like, what the hell happened?
And that's what, because Rob's, I was like, man, I'm so sorry. And Rob's like, I just want my money back. And I was like, dude, I'm sending a swivel right now to Skunk. Right now, there's a swivel. It's a prototype. He's going to use it. And if it gets that skunky appeal, I'll send you a swivel for free. And you go, nope, want my money back. And I was like, and I said, he goes, man, I just don't think we hit the same. I just don't think I hit like you do, or however you phrased it. It was this very matter of fact, we just don't hit the same. Okay. And my reaction was, you remember what it was? It was, you don't know what you like. You don't know what type of waves you like to ride until you've ridden them all.
You actually said you can't lead a horse. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Really?
That's what you said. Because I still that sticks with me to this day. I'm like, man, that was deep. I feel like a real asshole now. Like,
what a dick, though.
I was like, wait, I broke a swivel and then he called me a horse? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
I think it was because in the end, it was what I was trying to say was, dude, there's other ways to do this. And I think I even told people when I first started selling them, I realized I was having some issues, and I was like, just don't hit it hard. You know, just like, it's not made to be hit hard. I think it was, what's his name? Not Oscar, but, Richard Acuna. I had given him a swivel and he hit it and he said first punch he broke it. I was like, oh my God. And then Rob snaps it. I'm like, oh my God. And I gave him his money back. And it was a few months later or not months, a few weeks later. How long you say?
Oh, dude, I don't even remember. I want to say maybe it could have been like a month or two.
That's about right, because all of a sudden $60 shows up in my PayPal and I'm like, what's this?
It just wasn't, it just wasn't sitting right with me. I'm like, I felt like I felt like an asshole.
But you glued it back together, right?
I glued it back together. Yeah, man, I glued it back together, and here we go, right here.
Right there.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy.
Not hitting it like an asshole.
Chappell, who came up with that phrase? Did you come up with that one?
What phrase?
Hitting like an asshole. There was one time you're like, yeah, Jeff told me to quit hitting.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's just the phrase most people would use.
Okay. But I swear, like the first time that I felt like I ever heard it was Chappell saying, I started using one of Jeff's swivels and he told me don't hit the ball like an asshole. And ever since I'm like, I don't remember quite saying it like that, but it works. It works.
I paraphrase a lot. So, I mean, that's my problem is I have a terrible memory. So I just make up whatever you said. It was the same vein, same long lines.
So Rob, then your next, like you posted like one or two videos on the U-hook, right? And then Speedbag Spidey showed up.
Yeah, when I got the 7, when you sent me the 7. No, that was the Death Child. That was the last one you had.
That's the last one. It destroyed the mold. That's right. Now, Chappell, you started with the 6 or 7. Do you remember?
I think it was the 7. Which one came in flat black? It was the one right before that one.
Oh.
So, sorry. Again, I have a terrible memory.
No.
You were spray painting for a while, right?
Do what?
No,
you were spray painting them for a while. Right?
No, it was a black resin.
Oh, okay.
It was a black resin, and that was when because Chappell came. He and I met after you and I initially met, and then Chappell started testing my swivels for me, and then you showed up. That's when Speedbag Spidey showed up. And this is where I'm like, all of us kind of this whole like the couple of us just all started hitting around the same time and had a strong influence. And then Rob just starts out with the first web. Show the first web. Show the and I remember to this day when you posted this, I was like,
it's right back there.
Oh, it's still there. You still got it.
It's my it's one of my verticals.
Nice. This was the first one.
Look at that choppy ass shit. Good Lord. Every time I go back and look at it, I'm like, damn.
And then we go to the overhead.
Got to start somewhere, though.
So go, hold on. Go back real quick. Hold on. Go back. The visor. I remember when the visor shows up, and I am like, what the fuck where did you come up with this? Because I believe was this the one that you used at your office at one point?
I have. Yeah, behind my desk at work. Yeah, behind my desk at work, I have like a little shelving unit, and this is when I was in deep. I was all in on speed bagging, and I'm just like, I got a speed bag right now. What am I gonna do? I got to do it right now. So I'm like, how can I make a mini speed bag behind my desk at work?
And I just started. What's the ball made of?
Oh, the ball went through so many different things. First, it was a handball that was duct taped, and like it just didn't rebound right. Then I'm like taking apart my kids' toys. I'm stealing like their foam balls. It was like a little foam smiley face ball, and I kind of just shaped out the top, of the neck of the bag, and just duct taped the rest of it. And I mean, it doesn't rebound as good as I'd want it to, but it does the trick, man. It at least feeds my addiction for a short period of time.
Have you got looks in traffic while using that?
On the way home from the gathering, I was stuck in traffic, and I was like, you know what? I might as well just speed bag if I'm stuck bumper to bumper. And yeah, some people just turn like, what the hell is this asshole doing? And I'm like, just trying to stay sane.
There you go. And then there's all Rob's had so many different ones there. He's got stuff out in the backyard where he's throwing snowballs at them. He's like, I mean, there's just countless Rob literally. And and Bodie has a favorite speed bagger, and it's because all the crazy stuff that you're always coming up with. He's like, he's always like, oh, is that speed bag Spidey? I mean, it's like, so, but so we have this, and then we come up with the, I mean, how in the hell did you come up with a 4x4 on a skateboard and a speed bag?
Well, at first I tried my portable that I have that I made out of a hand truck, and unfortunately that would not fit on the end of a longboard. So I had some leftover material from a project that I did. I'm like, I bet if I drilled into the bottom of this, I could turn it into a nice little speed bag post. Dude, trying to ride that thing.
I was just gonna ask, how in God's name are you? You have so much weight in the front. Yeah, how are you balanced out?
It was so hard to keep it balanced. The board. So hard to keep balance.
Want to go back real quick? Want to go back?
Yeah.
And not only doing that, but keeping that, that rhythm, throwing the elbows in while you're going. It's like, dude, I used to love longboarding, but holy Jesus.
I had to make sure I was at the top of a little slope so I get some speed, because it was hard to get that thing moving too.
I bet.
Worst part was people at the park looking at me also like, look, what is this guy's fucking problem? Like, do we have to call like the police? Like this idiot riding around.
How many times did you wipe out?
I never wiped out.
No.
I didn't fall. I'm pretty good on a board.
Nice.
But just trying to keep that thing straight up, because I mean it's way too tall.
Yeah.
So I wish I could have found something a little lighter, maybe like hollow tubing or something like that, or maybe PVC piping. Maybe it would have made it a little bit lighter. But once I came up with that, I'm like, no, I got to try it right away.
That's awesome.
But no, that was fun.
And then we come up with, I mean, tell me, nobody in this room was surprised to see this. I mean, you can't. When I saw it, it's not that I didn't love seeing it. It's that when I saw it, I was like, but of course. I was surprised he hasn't done this already.
I mean, if you're gonna have a handle speed bag Spidey, you got to do some shit upside down.
So this can't be that easy though.
No. I shot another one last night, and I was like, wow, I forgot how much of a head rush this is. I hope I don't pass out and just drop on my head in my garage here. My wife's gonna find me laid out here. Takes a lot of core.
Oh yeah,
a lot of core strength. That was a tough one, but I kept working at it, a little by little every day.
Well, so you were watching the one of you upside down doing it with your feet, and it was like, oh my God, how
I was doing a headstand, yeah.
Yeah, like I always joke with
just
my daughter.
Trying to cover all the bases,
I always show my daughter, I'm like, I could walk on my hands, I could do this, I could stand up, but what? Wow! When I saw that, I was like,
I would say you've definitely out of this little group right here, you have come up with the craziest shit out of anybody. I mean, now I will say Chappell has had some really interesting Chappell moments. I mean, like that's the day that the tree showed up, I was like, what the fuck? This guy is on another planet. So and see, you two guys are starting to come into my world at this point where y'all are. Chappell's becoming one of my product testers. I mean, dude is like, every swivel that I've made at some point, like when I hit, like, I was like, okay, dude, here comes the 12, try to break this. And then here comes the 13, try to break this. All right, this is the 14. I need you to just like try to kill this thing. And he has followed through with everything. I was like, I'm sending you a platform. I need you to see if you can break it. And he did. Just but he would send update videos of just like, yeah, it's fast, bro. I'm like, Jesus, yeah, it's fast. But start with the first video, because here's the thing. when Chappell, I think that I had seen one of your videos
Actually, before we go into that
previous to
one,
you buying. Oh,
yeah, before
real
we,
quick,
This
Spidey.
one's great.
I will. I'll get so Spidey. This is Bodie's favorite video. Like without it, and I love it myself.
Oh, my easy.
This was not easy to do. Like the control it took to go slow to play that, because right now you can't. I don't know if when we play the thing it'll play the music to it, but like you were right in time with the music for this. You know, I mean, right in time for it, and I just. Dude, Bodie sits there, he'll ask me to watch that video. He'll ask for it. And that's that going from this evolution from this guy who sends me a video snapping a swivel, puzzled as to why, to the skill that it took to play that video. I mean, to the whole drumming aspect of it, the bagging aspect of it, that's pure control. You didn't try to go fast through it. It was a control video. And I'm always impressed with it. Always
Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, drumming's still a work in progress, but
I think for all of us.
I appreciate Bodie. That's cool to hear.
Yeah, it is. So sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to like cut that video off, but at this point, Chappell and us, we're starting to become friends. Chappell's testing my stuff. Rob's coming in. I haven't even met Brandon yet. So it's like our world for speed bagging is pretty small. It still is. You know, but Chappell comes in with fire, and it like I still remember your very first video, the very first one that I saw that just made me go, I don't think I want this guy to touch my swivel.
Yeah.
Like I just like I was afraid it was going to get destroyed. You know, and he's fast, and this is the sitting there on a title, just sitting there going to town on this thing, just pure boxer style, and doing it well. I'm like, he's better than I am. And then he goes, this is going into the I'm doing quads now. Had you taken lessons from Skunk yet? Pause it right there.
No.
Did you? When did you take the lessons from Skunk? Pause it real quick, Juan.
I honestly couldn't remember. Maybe a little after this. But yeah. So just watching his video. It's once you, and then the Speed Bag Bible. Like once you see a few of those basic moves and you kind of understand, then you're just putting your time, dude. I mean, that's kind of how G-Town felt about it when I talked to him. It's like, you put in 1,000 hours of the bag.
Well,
you can tell, once you get to a certain number of hours, it's like
this picture, this right here, the way that this is paused right here on the screen right now, you looking into the camera, you and Alfred, y'all both have these certain particular looks, and y'all will be in the camera a certain way that this is actually like there's when you snapshot, like when you think of somebody, that these are certain images that come up, and this you and Alfred both have one. It's very like this, of like, it was such a early core memory of you getting that, and that look, I was like, oh God, this guy's gonna destroy this swivel. And it lasted, it lived, and it was one of those things that gave me hope. And I see
that
him.
one's really hard too. I mean, that pour, that thing still lasts. I've used that a lot.
Rob has the same one.
And I was going to say that one sat outside in the weather in Maine for like 1 or 2 years before I switched it out with, I think, a 12 or something. But
yeah, that's been outside for 3 years.
That one's.
Yeah. And I beat the shit out of it too. I
was going to say, but you could say that one's not a quick one to make. Like that one was definitely not easy. No. So the difference of a CNC machine ripping through one and you making that one.
Yeah. No, it totally different processes. And this is the very beginning steps. And Chappell was always so willing to. He had fantastic feedback, and he was like, because he liked the spinners. Chappell, like he's the one of the only people I know that calls it just like that. And I say it when I talk with him. He wanted a spinner. I call it a freestyle. Chappell, it's a spinner, and because that's what he does. He likes to spin that ball. He does great traps. He does great spins, and his evolution on the bag is so. I feel like there, in some ways, at a point, you could almost see Chappell and I as we were moving through as we were learning things. That it's just step by step that I'm getting good as he's getting good. He's getting crazy fast. I mean, and Chappell's one of those dudes that sometimes even he'll tell you, I don't have the greatest form, but I keep the ball going. Like you dude, there are
Who
times
needs
that I'm like,
control? Bombs
yeah, I'm
on
like,
target.
and there's a video that we're gonna
Wing a
hit in a
few more
second.
rounds, you'll hit them. It'll be fine. So, yeah, no, actually, when I took that lesson with Skunk for the first time, like he did make a comment of like, there's ways of like you'll see somebody on the bag and they'll just be like this and they'll be hitting the bag, and I'm like, now at this point, like this far away, I'm like, that kind of is me. Like, I mean, keep your guard up and stay a little more. You know, I get what he was saying at the time, but really, it's like if you're in a certain area, you know, you're going to be able to come back to the bag if you put enough time on it. And, you know, like, you know, if you come in here and you hit the bag in here, like, and you just cheat with your wrist, like it's going to be in here and it'll keep going. So you just learn those things of like, you know, there's the difference of trying to hit it like Alfred or like trying to do certain things. And then there's just like screwing around. And I've kind of felt like the last 6 months I've fallen into screwing around more than getting frustrated. Like I haven't been frustrated in a while, and that's how you know I'm not working on too many things, because you don't have that like ready to break something near you.
I watch so many Alfred videos and I just feel intimidated just turning it on. I'm like, I can't do that.
Like, just stay with the simple, and then you're like, okay, cool. Week one, day one stuff, and I'll get it one day.
Yeah, and it's tough, but you started elevating pretty quick, and I think that it was you. I would come home from work, and all I had to do is turn on Instagram, and who was live? Chappell. He's like, I don't feel like recording. It's too much bullshit. You know,
editing. Why not?
I don't want to fuck with that.
Yeah, just throw it on. And then it cuts you from music, so that you know,
kind of run into problems. Fuck it.
Yeah, well, it cuts you off from music all the time, so then you got to stop that there. And then you obviously see like 3 years later, you're like, oh, that got removed. So it's just kind of a.
There was the coffee and the beer. It was the live sessions that you could tell it was a live session because it was the coffee and the beer. You know, it was a kind of a common thing. But yeah, play on to the next one, the next video after this. So this is when he gets the Evo. This is the first Evo he gets, and I'm terrified. But you started hitting different. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, you can't hit it as hard. I mean, that's when it comes down to, like, when that thing spins, like, you want to be like, oh, yeah, I could do the same thing. And then you hit it, and it's like, holy okay, cool. That's going a different way.
Do you remember if I sent you, because, see, that's a glued core ball. Do you remember if you got the spinner separately or if I sent it to you to test it?
I think you just told me how to make it.
Oh, okay.
And I think I just switched out the ball on the inside.
Yeah. Huh.
Pretty sure.
So we get there. This is when, I mean, it's literally I believe that's the only swivel that I have ever signed the dude. That was back when I was selling weed, you know, that was my name, the dude. You know, I was like, the dude was here, you know. And so that one was signed the dude, and I was like, man, I just have a feeling this dude and I, we are either gonna click or we are not. And we did, you know, and so it goes from there to what do we got next? Oh, the tree. Yeah.
The COVID hair, man.
The long hair. Pause it. I still remember when the first time I saw this, is like, dude has a twig holding up a tree.
Where did you cut that chunk from? Was that a tree that came down?
So we had a storm that came through, knocked down a tree. Nice. I just cut down the widest piece I could find. You can't see it too much, but I mean, there's a chain.
Cut. What size blade were you using? 36?
Nah, 16.
Yeah,
like
dancing around it.
Yeah. So I mean, like if you got close, it's not the best. So that's where I usually tried to keep that bag. It kind of messed up one of my bags, but.
Is that the one that messed up the Bradley?
Yeah,
you had the Bradley out there for like 2 years or something. The rain.
Exactly. Yep.
What did you mount it with? How did you mount it to the tree?
I took my car. Yeah, so I took my Tucson. I hammered a nail up pretty high and then put a little pulley on there and used an old dog runner cable and just pulled it up, hoped for the best. And it got up high enough. I threw a chain around it. You know, that tree was supposed to be falling down because it got smacked in half in that storm, and I mean, it's doing fine. So, but it just sags now. So, I mean, it's going to get pulled down this year, sadly. But yeah, that thing
how much do you think that thing weighed?
Dude, that thing weighed a ton. So yeah, I mean, over 600 pounds probably.
Were you ever hitting under it and hearing like creaks and cracks, like, oh shit, is this the day? Is this, you know?
Nah, I mean, I cut it thick enough, and then like, so if you see next to the tree, like that's a 2x6 or 2x8 or something that just kind of held it on the inside, dude. And then there's an eyelet on the outside. Like I would do pull-ups on it just to make sure, you know, that it's not going to fall. But like that wood would have to snap in half, and then the chain would like. There's, you know, a lot of people made comments too in the beginning. I'm like, okay, bro, if this falls on my head, like I'm an idiot. Like, cool, like it's not fucking falling. Like it has, you know, you just throw a few extra nails. Like that thing's not moving anywhere.
You're like 10.5 inches thick.
Yeah, like even now trying to pull it down and stuff, it's a little rotten on the inside. You know, I could have gotten a better piece of wood, but, you know, that's the only tree that was there. So,
that's
and like sealing it, you know, if I dumped a lot of like shellac or something on the top, it probably would have lasted longer. But, you know, ants get in there, freaking things grow out of it. It's so, you know, it is.
I just thought this is the craziest speed bagger on the planet. Like I loved it. I mean, I am not dogging it in a second. I was like, yeah, I am impressed. Like,
better have those nice platforms. You like, there's a few guys that have outdoor platforms that look way nicer, and they use those.
Yeah, Dude,
I like seeing the homemade chopped chunk of wood sitting there, and he's like, yeah, I put it up with my car, and I used a dog run to get that thing up. You know, it took a guy or two, we pulled it with a couple screws, man, a chain, we're good. That's how you know you're out there just doing it, having a good time.
And that's what it seemed like. It looked like one of those 80s movies. He's so mad he's out in the woods, just like I just cut a tree down, and I'm just hung it up here like a bear, and I'm just a total 80s montage around that one video.
That's awesome.
And then what's that after that? The grenade? Is that what we have after that? The grenade? Because I mean, there was this was Chappell in perfect, just like people do not realize that is a small little bag, and it is not the easiest thing to keep control of, and you have it on a long hook, and you are going to town on that thing. Go back real quick.
Yeah, that thing's nice. I like that thing.
That little thing was fast, you know, but it was his ability to control something that small and going at that speed. I know we were watching it slow mo, but you watch it in full speed. That dude is just, I mean, you are literally, I don't know how you can keep it in control, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
You know,
and the way you jump away from it and then keep going and then come back in and complete control. It's like, what? Whoa.
You do that a lot. Probably I would say that you probably move around more than any other bagger that I know, you know, and it's interesting to watch, you know, and because your feet are involved, your whole body's involved, you know, and it is when you're doing your quads, Jesus Christ, man, it looks like your whole shoulder blade's like touching your pec. It's like, the fuck. Yeah. And so, and this is all like, if you were to watch that first quads video to what he's doing on that little bag, it is, the skill level is night and day, but it's how many hours, how many hours? I mean, just ballpark, 1,000, 2,000. I mean,
well, 15. I mean, when I started it, I said, let's do at least 15 minutes a day. And then like, you know, to Spidey's point, it's like, then it's an hour and a half a day. And it's like, so, I mean, I always tried to keep 15. Like I said, the last 6 months has been a little bit different, but you know, cause then it's just the processing. If you're on there, you hit it, even if you hit it for 35 seconds, like you walk by it and you hit it, like you just get that repetitive nature of like, okay, it's stuck in your head and you're good to go. But
and that platform has 2 balls hanging off of it, because I saw the video of you just going with one on each.
It used to have 2, and then I had a recessed. I've done a few things. I need a real platform and stop being lazy. because I just kind of threw that up, and it's for my height. And honestly, like unless you're exactly 6 feet tall or whatever, it's kind of sucks to be you. So
y'all live like an hour from each other, right?
Yeah.
Y'all live.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
something like
pretty
that.
close to each other. One of these days, you'll have to meet up and bag.
Yeah, definitely.
So then we move. So then this is total. The next video is just let it play for a second and just. I mean, this is one of the reasons why April is just like Chappell from the first day we met this guy is unpredictable of what you're going to see in one session.
The movement is just
guaranteed he's going to punch it hard. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's coming back, and he's got it right pinned as it's coming. I mean, the control is it.
I feel like if you have it your head height though, and you keep your fists here, like you're always kind of there, so you can get away with a lot. Where like if it hits here and it kind of squirrels away, it's like okay, well I just got to come through and. I mean, obviously it takes time, but especially that 6x9, like, I don't know. That's how I like to hit it. But that's why I like watching a lot of the boxers hit it too. Cause a lot of those dudes that you see that are in a boxing gym, they're like in the background. You'll be watching somebody else like do a boxing video and the guy in the background is like moving around, hitting the bag.
Well, but, it's like watching Sean Doherty. I don't know if you've seen his videos that I've posted of him, but he's an older guy, kind of heavy set. And dude, that guy hits when he hits that bag. I'm just like, oh, that would hurt.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that when I guarantee you don't want to necessarily get into a fight with us. Cause yes, we do have quick hands, very accurate, but that dude is punching to like knock the soul out of you. And I don't try to hit
he traps it when he comes through with that hard boom, boom. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. It's impressive. And say watching Chappell, that it's unpredictability of like when you're watching him, and it's you can tell that he's just out there bagging to have fun. He's just he ain't trying to kill it. I mean, which sometimes he is, but it's an experience to watch you bag always. I've always, anytime a Chappell video comes up, and then you get these random blurps like this, which I'm surprised because. What's Chappell's rule? What's your rule on people you follow? Do you still stick to this rule? Because you used to have a pretty strict rule.
I don't know. I don't follow anybody. I feel like anybody anymore. I just scroll through all you guys and whatever else pops up.
It was, you told me back in the day, if somebody posts more than 3 non-speed bag videos on, follow their ass.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because there's a bunch of stuff I'd see. I'm like, all right, fuck that. I'm done.
I became the same way.
No offense.
I remember he would get pissed. And if somebody posted a video that was non-speed bagging and hashtag speed bag.
Oh, I was the same way. 9 round, I used to, oh my God, man, that was the worst when you followed that speed bag hashtag because they would just explode on 30, 40 different locations. I think they had 900 locations. They've almost all closed now, but yeah, crazy.
That's awesome. Do you have that set up in your yard?
Chappell.
No, everything's in my garage.
Well, I mean the pit. You pull it out, obviously, and
yeah.
And that's because this is the random stuff that you're going to see from Chappell. I think you may have posted also once like a scuba diving or you were diving or snorkeling, or there was like one other non-speed bag and non-pole vaulting video.
Yeah, could be. I mean, yeah, I scuba dive. My
or
dad
skydiving?
likes to all go. Nah, I mean, unfortunately, I wish I had people around here that would skydive, but that's a long time ago.
But you still use the vault. So the vault is...
well, I mean, we'll see. If I get back in good enough shape this year, but 40, I feel like, damn, man, how much longer can I vault? And that pole that I'm on there is a easier pole. I bought one when I was getting in better shape, starting to vault a little better, and it's kind of a monster, so... We'll see. Got to run, get back in shape, start doing some more pull-ups.
Nice.
But,
I did that in high school, and there is no way I would be able to get on a bar.
Yeah.
And then we have, like I say, Chappell became my product tester, and then we come across Brandon, who sought me out. He actually reached out to me and said, "Bro, I want to learn how to hit like you hit. Is there any way you can teach me? And this was the second video they posted. The first one was a little grainy. I wanted to show it, but this one just shows this very slow, methodical way of teaching how to speed bag. And this dude, who is a fighter, was willing to do it. 30 days later, this is what we get. Pause it real quick.
Yeah. Man, I remember being so I was so stoked in that video because I was finally starting to throw elbows. I didn't even know how to contain myself. I could just scream, dude. Yeah, baby.
30 days. I remember that I was just like, man, because I would send him homework regularly. He's like, man, I just want to do what you do. And so I was like, I've never taught anybody how to speed bag before. He's like, I don't care, man. Just teach me. So I would send him homework and he would just work through them. And next thing we know, 30 days later, Brandon's doing this, and he started getting the attention of a lot of more, experienced baggers than us, because he did start getting good really fast. I mean, I was shocked how fast he was getting good. And other people were saying the same thing. It just wasn't normal for somebody. And he had a fighting background, and, he was a Marine. And Brandon, tell us, life when you first got on the bag was rough.
Yeah. I was definitely down in a dark spot in life. And, I was just sitting down one night and I was like, man, I'm doing this. And, that's what I did. The next day, I put together that it was one of those speed bag combination setups with the punching bag. And, then I reached out to you and it was on and cracking as soon as you called me. I tell you, I was so stoked, and at that time of my life, I was really kind of in a really a dark moment in my life, you know what I mean? And I needed to do this, and I wanted to do this. And, then every day I would train morning, afternoon, and evening, probably a couple hours each time, at least 3 times a day. So I was putting in at least 6 hours a day.
Man.
And because that's all I was doing. COVID had hit. You couldn't do nothing. So that's all I was doing. And,
that was something for all of us. Did that affect all of you guys as well? Did COVID affect y'all when y'all started bagging as well? It gave you more free time to do that.
Yeah.
Right now, not Chappell. He was out there jabbing the shit out of people. So look at that. He's like, I don't even want to talk about that.
I'm too new.
Yeah,
I was inside with the kids during COVID.
Yeah. But no, I meant Rob and Chappell. Did y'all get to bag more than regular because we did have a lot of downtime?
Same.
Yeah, I mean, I was home.
I would say about the same.
Same. I bagged a lot.
Yeah, no, I was bagging a lot. I was doing CrossFit at the time, so my gym shut down. So I'm like, all right, I got to figure something out.
So when Brandon comes in, and I tell everybody, my goal for you is not to be as good as me. My goal for you is to be better than me. And when I hit a point where I'm like, I don't, I'm not saying you've learned everything that I can teach, but if there's other people out there, and so he was taking it from other people that he started learning from some other baggers out in the community, and he got really good at elbows. Elbows isn't necessarily my thing. I don't dribble. I don't do stuff like that. And Brandon started figuring out that he can dribble, and he can dribble well. I think that's the next video that's coming up, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I just want to make sure you guys hear Brandon
Reps.
say, "Oh yeah," on here. This is awesome, man. Here we go.
Yeah, baby.
Well, hashtag Elbow King.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought when I saw him. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that dribbling elbow on the elbow ring. That.
Yeah.
And that was really when it started taking off with the elbows. That one there.
And that's why I posted that. That's why I wanted to show that one, because that felt like it was when you started really finding your feel for dribbling, because dribbling is one of those things, like, you've got to feel it. You really have to feel that motion, because it's not just a dead stop. There's a particular way you roll your arm around. That's a skill on itself. I've never even tried it. Chappell you double. I know you dribble some. Spidey, do you dribble much?
I do. I dribble.
Do you? I don't.
I like dribbling.
I like dribbling.
I
I think
dribble
my
here,
left
man.
shoulder just not happy with it. It just the position. I don't. So
well, and I like the argument that I think his name was Fat Brad. He used to have. There's the difference of like putting the elbow in and doing like what Brandon does pretty well. I think having it there and he's bouncing and he's kind of driving through and controlling it.
Right.
Where like you can do this, and that's what I think of for dribbling. So I don't know if anybody else has that in their head, or maybe I'm just a semantical arguer.
I think there's a point when I feel that elbow. When I feel like that second or third rebound, I start squeezing that elbow off to the side as much as I can, and like I think this year I'm pushing for like 10 rebounds. I could hit 6, I could hit almost 7, but I'm comfortably saying I got 10 at some point this year. So we'll see what happens. I love dribbling that ball, and there's not a lot of people. There's people that can do it. I know you guys can. I've seen you guys do it. But I love. I don't know. They call me the elbow king. I've been seeing that a lot, and I'm just going to keep running with it, definitely.
Yeah, there's one.
And what's beautiful is that everybody, if you watch there's 6 people sitting right here. If you watch any of our videos, you can. I watch y'all's videos by sound a lot, and so does my wife. There are times that she can be in the other room and she can go, "That's Horton," or she knows it's Spidey. Like there's everybody kind of has certain cadences sometimes, and I like that about bagging, that you can be so similar. There's times that I've watched Santiago do some of Alan Kahn's routines where I'm like, that dude is like a carbon copy.
Dude, he's amazing, Matt.
Unreal. As I was last night, Bachman and I were talking for a while, and we were talking about Santiago because that was one of his large influences. He's like, I never learned from the Bible, but I learned from watching Santiago. He said, Nate and I would just sit there and watch, just trying to do what he's doing. And I'm like, guy's a machine, and he has beautiful form, and absolutely stunning form. And he's done some moves that I had never really seen before also. And so as I've always said, the moment any of us think that we invented all this shit, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Doors to Green proved that 100 years ago.
Yeah, but she didn't hit it that hard.
No. So, but then we get to Brandon, where he's
throwing elbow like Brandon.
Yeah. Then we get to where Brandon is just. I mean, tell me what's changed in life, really. So, you've gone from a man that was, I'm going to say it, you look like the shell of a man at one point in time. You just looked like life was just really rough. And tell me, what's changed since then?
Speed bagging is definitely a therapeutic tool for me, and just when I feel like hitting something, that's how it started off, and it developed into this just lifestyle for me, and the way things changed, I ended up marrying the girl of my dreams, and we have a baby on the way, and things like that.
Baby B.
What's that?
I said baby B.
Oh yeah, Uncle Spidey sent her first speed bag already. Just things like that, positive. There's just nothing. Everything that came from the speed bag was positive. I was winning every day because of the hours I was putting in and the time and all the love I was getting from y'all. And the comments, the positive reinforcement just kept me going. And next thing you know, that turned over into just winning in life. And with that and having that mindset and being able to push and keep winning. And so that's where it's at, and now I'm trying to help influence anybody I can, that finds themselves in need of something. Well, hey, the speed bag did this for me, and there's no reason I can't do that for you,
It's good.
So,
I love it.
Yeah, the first video I saw.
First video I saw of you. Here. Sorry about that. I'll just add something real quick, Mike. Yeah, dude. Like you said, you're paying it forward, and that's what's awesome because again, like, dude, I don't think anybody here knows besides Jeff probably, but dude, like you text me every morning. Every morning you text me. You know, you would say, "Hey, how you doing, brother? How's bagging going?" And you know, that's a lot, man. That's I thank you for that. You know, like I said, I consider that a mentor. You know, always checking in. I just love that the fact that, like you're saying, you were in a dark place. Jeff helped you through that. The little, you know, the speed bag helped you through that, and then now you're paying
Absolutely.
it forward. So I think it's awesome, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Hey, man, anytime, you know, really. I mean, Jeff called me, and from that moment forward, it was like we just became best friends, and it's never changed. You know what I mean? And it's not gonna. It's just one of those things, man. You know. And then like, I met Spidey, you know, at the gathering when I went to the gathering, and we bagged a lot, you know, side by side, and we just had a good time, man. These are all like moments I'll never forget. You know what I mean? Just fun times. So
I have to say about the gathering real quick, Jonathan, when you made it to this last one, we got to meet. It's great. After you left, Skunk came up to me and goes, "Hey, was that Chappell?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Motherfucker." I mean, he was like pissed. He was pissed. He just thought you were some other dude. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" You know, kind of like chatting with you and stuff. And then it clicked after you left. He was pissed. He was just like, "Son of a bitch, man. I didn't realize that was." I wanted to like talk with them and hang out with them. Like, I mean, he's just like,
we did. We were around.
We were around.
Try to stay low key. Yeah.
Same thing.
I won't shut up. So I mean, I try to stay low key.
Same thing happened when I first met Skunk. I walked past.
Really?
I'm like, "Oh yeah, my God, there's Skunk." I went up to go shake his hand. I'm like, "Hey, you know, hey Skunk, what's up, man?" He's like, "Oh hey, what's going on?" And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "He's commented on my videos. He doesn't even know who I am, man." And I just turned around and walked away. And I want to say maybe like it was a few hours later, he was like by my side, and we were talking again. He's like, "Oh hey, what's your name, man?" And I'm like, "Oh, my name's Rob." He's like, "No, what's your name?" I'm like, "Oh, Speedbag Spidey." He's like, "Dude!" I was like, "Oh, see, that's what I wanted, man. That's what I wanted." But that was a funny exchange we had.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And that's one of the things that I'm really glad that Chappell got to come this year, and that Rob, I've said it prior to everybody who's heard me talk about the gathering. It's like Rob was there and we talked for like 33 seconds. You know, it was if that much. He was like, "Rob, what's up, man? How you doing? Family and everybody? Hey, somebody wants to talk real quick." And then like we both just kind of did this the whole time.
I was just chasing my kids around the whole time. I had to get my kids there.
It's a little
this
harder
year.
when chasing the kid. Yeah.
But I'm happy I brought them. You know, the last year that it was at the gym, I was just.
It was great.
Yeah, but
it was great. I hated that right now it's kind of still up in the air, or is there going to be a 25? You know, so but it we'll figure it out, you know, eventually. So, but Brandon finally hits a point where he just is killing it. And I mean, this is about the time that we fast forward. And guys, before I even start that video, one of the things that I want people to understand is that there was at one point in time very few baggers to learn from. There were not playlists to learn from. It was, if we wanted to learn stuff, you had to watch an Alfred Gabelli video. If you knew about the Speedbag Bible, you might be able to interpret that. But there was not information just out there for people to learn from.
Or you could try to follow somebody that was private, because I feel like there was a few baggers that like are private.
Yeah.
But it's like that's the only other way.
But Jeff, you would always reach out, man.
Go on a treasure hunt.
I tried if I was learning something and if I was definitely struggling, I reached out a lot. Hey, can you help me with this? You helped me with the around the world, and there were several videos that I'm sure that you sent me to help me with stuff. I'm not the best learner at stuff, so but y'all help break it down pretty well. You know,
yeah, so I can't learn from reading a book.
I looked at the Bible and I thought I was reading it upside down, because I'm like, I can't make fucking sense of this shit. I wish I could, but like, I'm a physical learner. You know, at the gathering, I learned by standing behind somebody and watching them bag.
I didn't even know about it for the first months. When somebody said, "Have you ever read the Bible?" I'm like, yeah, I used to have to read all the time at church. They're like, no, the Speed Bag Bible. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Have you ever heard of Alan Conlon? Never heard of him. Yeah, and it's weird. It's like, I guess maybe Skunk, when we had a lesson or two, that maybe there was just never any reason for it to come up. There was no reason to bring Alan up. I wasn't asking him any root questions. I was asking him, how do I get my elbows to do this? How do I want to look like this? I want to look like Skunk. And that's what we did to learn. You took videos, you tried to break them down, but there weren't any slow videos of anything. All right, so how many faces have we seen come and go along the way? That's one reason why I know that there's a handful of us. We can only fit so many people on the show, but we haven't grown that much as a group. And it's not because we don't love it and we don't try to share it. It's just there's a special type of person that has to want to love to speed bag. April tried. She said, if I'm driving down the road and I hear a certain beat, I'm like, Jeff would be great at that song. She tried it herself, just couldn't fall in love with it. There's something with us that it clicks, and we kind of almost know from the start, or maybe because I've dealt with so many people. Like I say, I've started calling myself the Speed Bag Concierge. Like that's my job. I introduce everybody to everyone else. And Grewcock, I think I just come home from Italy. He pops up with a DM on what was it, on TikTok? Hey man. Yeah, like, I want to speed bag like you. I was like, all right, there's my WhatsApp number. And then he sent me a message and we have talked ever since. And at the beginning, look at his hook. Look at that hook. That is a paracord hook on a U hook. Oh. And it's because I told him, I was like, hey man, there's ways that we could make you bag better with what you got. Because, we don't always know what people's financial situations are. So if that's what somebody's got, that's what somebody's got. And eventually he'll figure out who I am. And what was I doing? I was showing a video of my swivels or something, and you were like, what the fuck?
Dude, I started talking to you in the middle of August, around August 27th, and we just hit it off. I showed you a platform because I was watching your YouTube videos, and one of them said, build a platform.
Did we lose him?
And so I built a platform. I sent you a message saying, man, it was something along the line of, I sandwiched 3 pieces of plywood together. And you were like, dude, you got WhatsApp? And I was like, yeah, actually I do. And you're like, send me a video of it right now. So I'm like, all right. So I came running out to the garage. I sent you a video and you're like, man, that's awesome. And so we called. You were like, you got a minute? I'm like, yeah. You FaceTime me, immediately called me and you were like, that looks good, like asked me questions of what I did and how I cut it around because it was the tombstone. I have it over there. It was shaped weird. Yeah. And so, we just spoke, we hit it off, and then I started bagging, and I thought you were just how you do it. This is what you need to do. This is where I learned. This is what I'm doing. And we were actually FaceTiming, and I saw in the background all of the swivels. And I said, oh, whoa, what do you got going on back there? And you're like, oh, dude, I make them. And I was like, wait, what do you mean you make them? So you showed me your process. You're inside your shop, and you're like, check this out. This is what I used to do. Now we're a little more. I
showed you. I did, and I'll be honest. I've shown that to a lot of people. There's a lot of people who've shown up over the years. I mean, God, Chappell, you brought up Fat Brad. I don't know if he still bags anymore, but I've never seen anything from him. And even what's his name? David Assman from Germany. He elbow injury. Mauel doesn't post anymore. Alfred. I mean, we can go down the list of people who were very present and then slid away.
Yeah.
And part of me, just like with you, Mike, I will show people my whole, I will. People think it's impressive because I answer the phone when they call me. It's Jeff Thrasher. He talked to me. Kind of like how we used to feel when Skunk would respond to us. And I'm like, no, you don't realize you're willing to talk to me. I just want to tell anyone about this shit. I just want to talk, period, about all of the speed bagness, and then you get somebody like Mike who was totally about it, and you wanted to learn. And it honestly, since Brandon, there weren't many people stepping up just wanting to learn stuff.
They don't stick around long enough either. They just they're kind of here for a brief moment, and then they lose interest or whatever. Life happens, and then they're gone. Seen a lot of them. A lot happen to that. That way.
And it's hard. Like, if you can't get past the barrier to entry of like that first, I won't say 1,000 hours. I don't know. Let's say like 100 hours.
Yeah.
But even that beginning of like, hey, can you do something this slow? Or if you're trying to learn this, like, can you do that without being like, oh, this sucks, and then quit?
Yeah, people get bored fast.
They do.
It's the attention span nowadays.
It's short. It's short.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you? I know that. So Juan today shared a video with me, or some screenshots of somebody that from France had sent him some messages about speed bagging, right?
Right.
And you could tell he was so excited about it, and I know that you guys have to get that from people, just from around that reach out to you guys, that how do you learn to do that? Or man, you're great. Or I know that most of the time it's the same 6 of us. They're like, great job, Rob. Great job, Chappell. Fire, brother. And I know it's support though. It's support. I mean, it's lately I've kind of taken a hiatus from social media. I just need a little bit of a break, but it is, I always tell everyone the speed bag's generally the nicest group of people that I hang out with, that I feel like, man, these are my people. And as I met some of y'all, definitely just like, we're all broken in some way. I mean, I don't know what way it is, but you have to be to stand there for as long as we did. And that's when I met Mike. I was like, oh, somebody just as fucked up as me.
I just think you need to put in the time, like, period.
Right.
You put in 30 minutes a day, like actual 30 minutes on the bag. You're going to be nasty. Like I said, even 15 minutes a day of actually hitting it, not like standing around thinking about what you would do, but like if you just actually hit it 15 minutes a day, you're going to get nasty fast.
Focused on some certain technique, focused just on one side punching, whatever the case is. One downward elbow. You do that for 30 minutes a day for a week, and it's going to be dialed in.
One of the
Even if
things,
you want to 3-beat. Even if you want to do like a boxer, like just do that for 3 minutes of that, and you'll get good. Mix it in with the other stuff, because to your point, all you got to do is like, that's where I think the Bible helps some people. Like it's kind of a little fucked up to call it that, but whatever. But like, there's things in there of like, as long as you're understanding where he's coming from and understanding that's not necessarily the point of like, oh, you have to come like this to this because it's called this and this is the move that's called that. But you at least get the gist of like, okay, well, there's going to be basic techniques, almost like fighting, that like are pretty good. Like there's some of them where I just think in my brain of it as cheating in mine, of like certain traps in a certain way. Or like you can sneak through a move if you like just moved a certain way, you can kind of cheat through it. In my mind, that's what I call it. But it's like, if you're not like this, you're not in the proper form in my mind, to where when you look at the Speed Bag Bible, it's one way, and then all of you guys have your own ways too, of like, no, I understand there's a way, and there's probably the best way, but then there's like, this is how I'm doing it, because for whatever reason, your shoulder could be fucked up. Yeah. You could just want to keep your hands up. The other guy, I was watching that guy that said he keeps his hands low sometimes just to practice that. I'm like, I just have flashbacks to being a kid where it's like, I just get hit in the head. Like I cannot, like if I do this, even when I come off and I'm like, man, I'm dropping it because my arm's tired, but I feel like somebody should be hitting me in the face, like just slapping me and be like, where's your guy? What are you doing? What's going on here? But that's, like I said, we all have the little things in our own minds. So, and that's like, so another thing, I was going to bring this up earlier and we're pretty late into it, but like some people really like, I mean, too high is kind of ridiculous, but you know, like there's all the way from really high to really low of how you keep the bag and what you're thinking of. Like, are you going body shots, head shots? Are you just going for fun? Like I was thinking when you were saying people that don't post anymore, I haven't seen, but that guy that like spins a lot and did all that stuff on a really high bag. Like if that's what you're doing, you know, there's all different kinds of ways to like do that.
Yeah, Frank, what's his name? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he was.
But like, you know, just to say that the different styles and different ways to do it, that you can kind of go your own way.
One of the guys that we got to get on the show is Imad. I would love for Imad to get to meet all and talk with all of us because he follows all of us. He loves all of us. Seriously, the guy's like a brother, and I would kill to have him come on the show. And seriously, you know, when I will say something that I had to understand with Mike, and I'm not picking on you, I'm being honest. Working with somebody like Elbert, who studies brains all day, okay, versus somebody who just almost died. Okay, we ain't gonna go on the Disney World trip right now, okay? But Mike almost died in a massive wreck, definitely caused, not saying Mike's not intelligent. Dude had built something. Look at those drums back there. I mean, dude is amazing what he can do. But you have to also remember some of his mechanical takes a second to catch up to everything else that's going on in there. And I saw that in his bagging. I was like, I can see that just give him some time. This dude's going to be good. And you watch his first videos form, you know, I mean, when he's rolling his knuckles, almost dragging his elbows, you know, I'm like, dude, you're killing it. Yeah. And then here comes this very controlled, confident bagger. And this is, you can see it. This is one of the things that I loved about this shows his personality. When I first saw him on TikTok, I was just like, man, this dude is a riot. Show the video, man. I'm like, what?
Nice.
I knew Spidey would like that, man.
Yeah.
And he was just, I was like, okay, this is going to be entertaining. Like, this is going to be unpredictable. There's one of those people that's going to fit in just like us, because you look back there behind Spidey, you look back there behind me, you look back there, and I know every one of us, we're creating our own nest, our own world. We're changing lights on our drums. We're changing things. Chappell's always changing view from up to down to left to right, from this point to that point. I mean,
it's in my garage. What do you want from me?
That's what I'm saying. But you're always, you know, it's like me. I am on the exact same drum every single time I post. I try to change the light colors. I try to change the stuff that's behind me. I try to change the color of the bag. It's like I try to make it so that when you see that little thumbnail, it's different. You're like, oh, it's not the same one I did a bazillion times before. You know, it's just, it's you're trying to think of, if I'm somebody scrolling through this, how can I tell which one's which? Like me going through Brad's stuff, I have to figure out, I have to remember which one's what and know, like, because I share stuff with everybody. Like, this is the video I want to send from Brandon. This is the video I want to send from Spidey. Because as the concierge, I introduce all these people to all of y'all. I'm like, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. You know, like, if I didn't mention them, they're probably not worth talking to. Yeah, I just, so, but anyway, who did we lose? Who dropped out?
Lost B.
All right. Oh, his dog was barking. All right. So, Grewcock shows up, hitting like a madman. He doesn't work. His wife's got a job that takes care of them. She works her ass off. Now, this does not mean this man does not work. We are all stay-at-home dads, right? You know, I mean, not stay at home, but I mean, in the sense, I know you work, but I mean, in the sense, we're all dads. We know how much work it takes to be a dad. Grewcock is a stay-at-home dad with 2 kids and still out of elementary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him. He's just like
3-year-old and a 4-year-old.
He's like, yeah. April's the cook around our house, and I was telling him one day, I was like, just get your wife to make this. He's like, I'm the one who cooks most of the time. So he's like, and I suck. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll start sending you some recipes
pasta
so you can
and butter.
pasta, butter, like just little things, you know. But I mean, he's slowly his flow. God, show as his videos grow, man. This is the tombstone. This is when Mike and I first meet. He's doing elbows slow. Like I had to just because when we had first met, he's already like, look at all of this that I can do. I was like, whoa. We need to stop, slow down, and go back to the basics. And like just something like linking, his elbow position here is fantastic. When we first started working together, his elbow position was what I call scooping, where he was moving a lot in his shoulders back and forth, you know. But when he's here, look at this, man. This is rolling and linking and split fist. That's bagging. And I'm telling you, like what it taught me is every single person, if they are dedicated to this, they're going to learn at different paces. I mean, Chappell learned very fast. I did not learn everything very fast. I look back and I look at how slow it took me to learn quads. I mean, Skunk and I did 2 lessons over quads, and I still felt like I was not good at them. I'm good at them now. I watch Chappell. I'm just like, this dude, man, 90 miles an hour.
But it's also, I believe, the only drill you need. So, I mean, you know, to throw that out there, that it's like, that's the basic. I say there's 3 drills that Skunk taught me when he first did the thing. I can't remember 2 of them, but that was one of them. Yeah. And it's like, you know, there's some basic. Even now, I like the 4s, you know, is always nice. But that, again, it's like, well, you can't start week 1, day 1 with that. I mean, you could try. You're going to get really pissed off. Or have the big blue one and like take almost all the air out of it. Then you could probably do it day 1. You know, there's some tricks of the trade that I think you can get away with. But you know,
and Mike, so here's one of the things too is that yes, Mike, he spent probably as much time, if not more, than most of us learning how to speed bag, and you wouldn't necessarily think that. And now I'm going to explain why. Mike's skill set on the bag necessarily is not his ability to flow in and out of all these different patterns. Skill set is that glowing platform behind him, and that there's multiple of them. One of them sitting in my house and multiple of them that are sitting on my website.
2 more over there.
2 more over there. This dude came into my world, and I'm not going to say bulldoze his way in, but Mike, I'm going to say it. Dude needed a brother.
Yeah.
He needed to feel like there was a place that he could go and feel comfortable. And that's what I have loved about hanging out with Mike. He just blended with all of us. I'm like, man, you got to meet these guys. Like, you're going to love these guys. I mean, they every one of us, like I say, in some form or fashion, are kind of a little screwed up, you know, and I'm totally fine with being screwed up. I like hanging out with screwed up people. It makes me feel normal, you know? So, and, you know, and Mike he jumped in. And when I said, you know, we could make these platforms like this, he's like, yeah, pretty good idea. Let's do that. And I'm like, all right. And then he does it, makes one. And so we didn't spend our time like most baggers I get into bagging with. I spend a lot of time sending, you know, tips and correctional videos of fix this and change that. Spend lots of time doing that. But with Mike, what was common for a good while, was I would wake up and I would have a WhatsApp message of Mike flipping straight the hell out over some resin debacle that's happened.
I've
and
got
he would
3 that are just sitting there messed up. and roll them down the road.
He would send me a message. It'd be like 5:30 my time. We all know I don't get up early. And it'd be like 5:30 my time. I'd finally wake up and I'd see my WhatsApp and I'd be laying in bed. I'd listen to this message. Dude, I totally screwed up. I'm waiting for you to wake up so I can hear you be like, it'll all be okay. And that's pretty much how a lot of us go.
I'm gonna have to take off, guys. I hate to cut it short on this end.
Okay, Brandon.
But
Brandon, it was great talking to you.
Right on,
much love to all you guys. So you'll see me doing my thing. So
see you one of the girls.
Yeah.
Thanks,
all right, guys.
Appreciate it, brother.
Talk to you later.
Juan, the producer of this podcast, shows up out of nowhere with a phone call. I think you'd sent me a video, but what I relay first is a phone call of, "Hey man, there's something wrong with my swivel."
Yeah, no, exactly though. I finally
Full
pulled
circle, huh, Rob?
Right?
Right?
Yeah, no, I finally pulled the plug to get the Evo 14, and I heard the little tic tac, and I was like, man, I don't know if I did something wrong, but I never heard that noise, and so I took a video of it, and I realized like, oh, it's the the little thing hitting it, so
I hook.
the eye hook hitting it, and I was like, man, so I called. Jeff answered. 45 minutes on the phone. He's like, "Nah, dude, you're not doing anything wrong. That's the way it sounds." He's like, "If you don't like that, you can get the stealth ball." But again, the biggest thing for me was that he took the time to, just see what my setup was. Again, 45 minutes away from his business, from his family. That to me is like huge customer service to me. So again, since that day, we talked every day. And yeah, dude, like now he's a family man. He's definitely like a part of the family, dude. And one of those days he talked about a podcast. He's like, man, I was on a podcast, and at that point I was like, dude, you need to start your own podcast. He's like, oh yeah, I should. And I said, dude, I'll help you with that. So here we are, man. Here we are. So
And not like a little bit. Not like this dude has done all of it. Like, I mean, he's had to take me where I'm one of those people who I like throwing computers for fun because we're not friends. We're not friends. And I guarantee you, Juan has at times like gotten off and like, man, that's one hot-headed son of a bitch. Like, because I like see red instantly. I'm like, it doesn't want to click. I'm just like,
yeah, no, it's been.
and
go ahead.
He's been really calm, which has been a good thing for me to have, but he's had an evolution bagging too. I mean, it's been great. Show him, man. I mean, it's you starting out, you were like a lot of us, man. We all thought this thing was look familiar.
The Rocky triple beat right there.
Oh man. Throwing in the galloping.
Yeah, no, I was introduced to it by Wheels, and as far as like boxing style, but really it just like
pause it.
Yes, I was definitely introduced to it, coming from like a boxing training kind of style. So, like I said, I finally pulled the plug on that swivel. Wheels did introduce me to Speedback Bible. I try to wrap my head around that. I just couldn't. It just wouldn't compute. I couldn't figure it out in my head, and yeah. So it like from that point, it was like, you just did the regular, triple beat. But then again, like I said, I would say probably fast forward, 8 years later or so. Like I said, I pulled the plug on this swivel. The Evo 14, and like I said, it just changed my life. Like I wanted to hit like you guys. I've been inspired by all you guys. And like I said, just go ahead.
Where did you see us first? So Mike saw Speedbag Saint, and Saint said, go check out Jeff.
Yep.
And Saint's impressive, man. That guy has put up some superior numbers. I mean, one of his videos has over 20 million views. I'm like, what? That's awesome. Exposure for the sport, right? I mean, it got Mike here. I mean, one person, hey, kick ass.
Right.
Juan, how did you stumble on us?
Yeah, no, again calling you, really. I mean, that's what it really like, you introduced me to, and really what happened was like I saw you, and then I got my, my other photography page, right? But Speedbag Bert was like, hey dude, start your own Instagram on just speedbagging. And I was like, and then I was like, sure, I'll do it. And I set it to private. Again, I'm not used to being in front of the camera. I'm usually behind the camera. But at that point I made it private. Jeff calls me, he's like, dude, you're recording your journey, and you could tell me no, but seriously, you should just set it to public. So So, I did it. And from there, I just, again, just recording my journey. Like I said, I kept apologizing a lot because it was like, hey, guys, I know you guys don't want to watch 3 minutes of somebody learning, but
it's the journey.
It's the journey. It really is, man. So that's really what I'm doing. I'm just kind of recording my journey to get to a certain, to you guys' point, really. Like, you guys are just, again, I'm inspired every day by watching all you guys. So,
well, I like how you explain your journey too as you're recording your videos. You're giving a nice explanation of what's going on, or what you're doing in that video. And well, that draws me into your videos.
What's cool that you say that too, because like a lot of things too, and I know you guys are already at a certain point, right? But like, I wanted to know like how much air to put in the bag, right? I was just talking to speed bagging biker, and he was like, dude, I feel silly asking about, how much air do you have in the bag? What's your hook? Is it medium, small? And, really it's like, if you guys could do that at some point, just to say, hey, like, I prefer this size bag, I prefer this hook and this much air in the bag. I think it would help a lot of people.
But definitely, because depending on the height of your bag or the height of your platform, the length of the swivel's nice, or the whatever you're using to hang.
Right.
From the bag is kind of nice, because if you can have like one of those 550 cords that's like 6-7 inches, and you can have it up high enough, like that's a totally different way to do it. But you better have a freaking
big drum.
6x6 drum, or like I've seen people do it with plywood. Like you can have mine. I can go pretty long, and depending on the angle, I can go kind of long, and that's kind of fun. You kind of have to move around a little bit more. With yours, especially when you're talking about pressure, like if you're trying to do a new move, definitely take some air out of the bag and it'll bounce a little bit nicer and easier. But then what I kind of like too is you have that title that's fast as hell. That's probably until that, I mean, the grenade, you could do it a certain way, and then like the thin Bradleys you can get going. But like that title is probably the fastest bag that I could get going, as far as like if you're 3-beating, hitting it
with the black
thing with a pretty good amount of air in it. I feel like it just whips.
I don't know, man. I must have got a different model after yours, because mine doesn't fucking go anywhere.
Yeah.
And
really,
dude,
could be the bladder.
It's got to be the bladder, because I beat the shit out of that thing, and
because the Bradley that I got. The Bradley that I got, that's got like the football kind of leather on it.
Okay.
They're like that one's hard because the bladder inside plus that weight, but it's nice because you could be hitting it hard and it won't go fast, and you just can't.
That was built for gym.
Sometimes you just want to like.
So when you're saying a 6x6 platform, are you going about 3 inches out with your?
Yeah, I don't. I have
3 feet out with.
That's what I would say.
It is
like,
a swing.
If you have some of them, like I've seen one dude or two that can do it in their place, but they just have like a plywood on their garage.
I think one of the guys is Pete that was making the swivels. Remember, he used to hang his on a long chain.
He had one.
It was like in his basement. It was pretty much his whole ceiling.
There was one dude that had one out of concrete. Do y'all remember that? The guy out of Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
He had one. It was huge. Biggest,
that one was pretty big.
Like I think it had at least 2-inch metal tubing, square tubing holding this thing up. It was massive. It was like.
But I found a round-a-whirl, and it's like you do that. Like a round-a-whirl takes up less space. You can hang it easier. Because those big platforms, it's like, how are you? How are you?
I don't know. I think Spidey died.
I'm at 10%. I'm at 10%, guys.
You're good. You're good.
He's
no,
back.
The thing is, like, somebody once sent me. Not once. I get this a lot, and this is why, Juan, I'm sorry. If I would have to post it in literally every single video. Do you know why? People don't research anything. They won't look anything up. Okay, so I can put it in this video, but literally, if I don't put it in every one of them, they're going to ask me anyway. How much air pressure? How much this? How much that? They will. I promise you, they'll ask. It's at some point it kind of becomes. That's why I started making videos for that stuff. Like, here you go. You can check this out.
Sure.
But so, guy asked me. He says, "What's the best bag?" And I'm like, "For what?" Literally, it's what I want to do. I want to literally go for what. Like, I mean, what are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to cream the bag? Are you wanting to, like just go really fast, but for endurance? Like what are you wanting to do?
Right.
Because if you, and he goes, I want to be the fastest freestyler. I'm like, still, I'm
because
sorry.
to that point, you got Brad, where it's like the little title for if you're trying to get around the backside of the bag and do that really quick and fast.
Yeah.
It's like that title's way different than any sort of larger bag.
Hook leak and everything. But the thing is, though, you watch Brad and you're like, well, I mean, you'd want a ball this big, but then you watch Brandon, I mean, Speed Bag and B, dude, that guy kills it on a big bag. Absolutely kills it. And I'm like, I can't do a big bag like that. So I'm like, you want a perfect bag and you want me to answer what a perfect bag is. You're going to have to answer a whole lot more questions. Like we need to have a phone call.
Sure.
Because this ain't going to be just answered by like this. Because I sell speed bags. Now I've got 4 options to choose from. And I tell almost every beginner, do not buy the grenade. You will not like it. You will regret it. It's just the smallest one is too small. And the 6x9 can kind of had an odd bounce if you're not hitting on it real hard. Like they're not for beginners. They're for dudes who know how to go fast. But so how do you pick a perfect bag? And that's what Juan, I'm sorry I went on about that for a while.
No, it's all good. I think
it just God.
So I think 6x9 is the best to start with.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a bigger, because somebody like you said, yeah, Jeff and I he started with a smaller bag than I did, but I bought that title and the lightning swivel because it was $40 on sale. And I was like, a bag and this, cool, let's try it.
Right.
And I like that whole setup if you're going to spend $40, sure. But, definitely having the larger bag is going to keep you interested longer if you're not just 3-beating it.
Right.
If you're just 3-beating it and you're chilling, cool, whatever. But like if you're trying to do other stuff, like that's a really hard bag to be on, especially if Spidey, like you're saying, if it's not bouncing well, it's like that's even harder because you got to be like really cranking into that small bag to get it going. So
and like, Spidey uses a lot of different bags. Like you commonly, you may have your core, like your most common bags.
My core is my 5.8 Ronnie. I don't know what if the leather that he used with this bag is just super thin, but it is the lightest bag. I will never let anybody else hit on it. I thought about bringing it to the gathering. I'm like, no, this bag's for me.
Yeah.
Nobody hits my bag but me.
Well, when I was at the gathering, there was one dude that I swear, I don't know if he was trying to break swivels or pop bags. And G-Town actually made the comment, he goes, that's my son's friend. I always know when he's been there because I got a pop bag when I come home. And I'd be like, that would only happen once. I was
put that title for.
That one there.
Yeah.
But
I don't blame
I like the grenade, but like definitely 6x9 is definitely the best starting size.
Agreed. And a lower PSI.
Yeah.
So, and also so I have a digital gauge. Who else has a digital gauge?
I do.
I never check the pressure on any of my bags.
You don't.
I go by feel.
Yeah, once you know the feel,
I have to pump a few.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but depends too, because I mean, we talked about this at the gathering. But just, are you trying to get really fast? Because sometimes you're gonna need, a little more air in there if you want it to get going fast.
Right.
However, there's that fine line where, I mean, I see most of us, like, it was kind of funny. I remember when we first started recording and stuff, people would be like, you got to wrap your hands. I'm like, that would fucking take like 45 seconds or whatever more. I'm like, I'm not fucking wasting that time.
Right.
But if you really make them hard, I could see how you'd want to wrap your hands. But
you
it's
don't
like,
feel
well,
it
but
the
then
same.
you're wearing a glove and you're messing it up anyway. So why not just fill your bag less?
Right.
But I do know that because I filled up my title to like try to go super fast. And you'll feel like carpal tunnle the next day where you're like, that's probably not a good idea.
There's a tool for every job.
Yeah.
That's the way that I put it. There's every bag. Hey, what am I trying to accomplish with this? And so that's what, for beginners, 6x9, lower PSI. You can always tell when guys have too much air in their bag, and you're like, I understand why the first comment Skunk said to me was, "Good job. You need to take some air out of the bag." And I had a little, I can see it right now, the little 5x8 Tidal super speed bag. Hated it. Sent Skunk a message the first day I got it. I was like, this bag is a piece of shit. Like I just feel like I'm having to just wail on it to even go anywhere. You smash it as hard as you can. He's like, man, you gotta break it in. I was like, I don't want to break in a bag. This sucks. So I wound up changing the bladder in it, and it sped it up a little bit, but it's still it's just not a very good bag. It's just slow. I don't know, wasn't impressed with it.
One thing that I'll mention of just like, again, me being new to this and and for anybody that wants to start, because I think you guys mentioned about how people come and go, right? I think one of the things that kept me here really to keep going, not only because I do like it, I really enjoy it, and I like the challenge of learning. But I think that's where it comes to that point of like, it takes a certain amount of, character, I think, to just kind of keep going on something that's not easy, right? And so, but I think the support system that you guys, because I realized that after a month and a half, I would say probably about within the month, more people started to comment and like, hey, dude, you're doing good. Try this, try that. And so I think just to let anybody that's trying this out, again, not everybody's going to reach out to you, but I think once they realize, hey, he's serious, he wants to learn, I think that's where you start getting that support system, throughout, just because, again, they're excited that you're excited and that you want to keep going. So, like I said, for me, it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing to just get that support system, then, the inspiration, the encouragement, the mentorship.
And you jumped in just head first. Like, in my opinion, like the way that you started bagging, when I was like, hey man, go public. Like, dude, you went public and you wanted to talk about it, you wanted to share it, and you got infected with it, and other people see that. And some of us kind of at first were like, is he really for real?
Are you one of us?
Are you one of us? Yeah.
Are you just pretending?
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. And that's why I actually did something for Speedbag and Elbert. He's the first person that I have put on my baggers around the world that has bagged for less than 1 year.
Dude, he's fucking blown up, that guy. He's that's because he works on brains all day. He's looking at everybody's brains, and he's like, why isn't everybody as good as me? he picked it up tutorials, fast, man.
He sends me tutorials on how to do shit, and I'm like, I was just teaching you a couple of months ago. Like, what the hell?
I mean, but certain people think in different ways. Like, there's those drummers, and then there's people that look at like efficiency of movement, and like that's where like certain things at the gathering that certain people say. Sometimes I'm like, we think about this so different. Like even trapping like this, making that a high percentage move. I would fucking break both my fingers. What are you talking about? Like, I'm gonna smash the shit up at the top of it. So, like, to where I'm like, I want to. Yeah, it's a low percentage move. It fucking is what it is.
Right.
But there's those people that think of like, yes, but if you wanted to then transition to this, and then this, and I'm like, yeah, you probably could do it a better way.
Yeah.
So
no, I get it.
His brain, you could see where he's got it broken down into like, really doing it well.
I learned the around the world by looking over Nate's shoulder.
Wow.
Because I couldn't make sense of it by watching it on the screen. I had to be like kind of like at his eye view. I had to be right behind him, like I was looking at the bag, like I was bagging, and that's how I got it. I watched him do it, and I just sat there and stared at it. I think I recorded him do it, and I came home.
You did.
I came home that weekend, and I fucking got it down within like 2 days.
And then you sent me a video on it, and then because you posted on it, I was like, you son of a bitch. You know, it's like I just cannot get that, and I still struggle with it. There's a certain part of it. I don't know if it's going a certain direction. I just fight with it. I don't try to mess with it that much. But speed bag hoodie. Have you seen him, Chappell? Yes, no.
I don't think so. Hold
See, Spidey, you have, haven't you?
Yeah.
November.
It's insane. It's insane.
November. I'm like, no. There's now, granted, we talk about how much time you get to dedicate towards this craft. You know, I don't give a damn. I take it back. They have a different, Mike, Juan, y'all have videos to study off of. Y'all have baggers that you were introduced into that you can watch and study from. Man, we just had a couple of people. You know, when Alfred showed up and started doing his instructionals, I was like, oh my God, this is like a living version of the Speed Bag Bible. This is the closest that I've found, because now there's Alan's version of it, but he just teaches it too fast for me to understand. The video is fast. And it's also, I'm one of those people, like Chappell's the one who taught me this. I made a 6-minute video on rolling or something like that. And I sent it to him. He goes, yeah, it's great information. Lost me about 2.5 minutes into it. I needed that. He made me start condensing my videos to stop the fluff and just straight to, this is what we're doing.
The thing I want to say to anybody that wants to start, I'm like, stop watching these videos and just go do it. Because the 30 seconds you're watching me, you could have done a 30-second roll. And, you know, if you did a 30-second roll every day of your life, you'd be way better.
Yeah.
Even if you just did, you know, to the point, like starting slow, however you want to do it. There's 50,000 different ways. You know, people argue different ways to start. I'm like, I just fucking do it. It's like running. Oh, but I want to run, like, just go. Just fucking go out your door and go run. When you're tired, turn around, come back. So with the speed bag too, is like, to your point, some of those new guys, they get really good really quick because they just look at it as a control bag.
Yeah.
And they're really working on that, where it's like, you know, there's the other thing of I just try to murder it. And, you know, Spidey's got his flair, you know, D-Pool, like with the spins and different, like, everybody's got their little different flair on it. And it's like, keep using it as a control bag to then do whatever the hell you want later is way better. Because, you know, you don't want to start off, once you start fucking it up in the beginning, then you're just screwed.
Oh man.
You know, like there's a lot of stuff where it's like, you get in a bad habit.
Backtrack
and like,
and shit, yeah.
Yeah, where
That's
it's like, yeah.
That's where I feel like some of these guys have an advantage. No, I hate saying advantage, but it's just a different experience of learning. It's like I was standing there with my little brother. It was in 2000 when Travis Pastrana threw the very first backflip in competition. I'm in San Francisco at the X Games, and I watched this backflip. He didn't land it. It didn't matter. He did it publicly and proved that this is going to be a real thing. I looked at my little brother and said, he just changed everything moving forward. You know, so what happens is these guys who we all saw it as impossible, then it became possible, but then they started getting good at it. They started getting foam pits, all these ways to get better. They started recording it. And then this new group of generation comes up who never saw these hard times and all these impossibilities here. All they've ever seen is double backflip with a hill clicker, you know, Supermans and all these impossible things. You're like, oh, it looks cool. It was never impossible to them. And so like when guys watch you guys, and seriously, when they watch you guys and they're like, it's not impossible. It's not, you know. And
yeah, that's what I miss being newer, because Jeff, we used to use that excuse a lot more to people, where it was like, you know, our first 6 months to a year doing it, it's like, dude, I've been doing this a fucking year. So it's like, you think I'm all this good and this is so happening. It's like, I've been a year. Like, you could literally be here in like 18 weeks if you just like put in the effort. To where, like I said, I've kind of coasted and like I've gotten better at the things I do. But like there's certain things that it's like, well, you know, 2 years ago I was definitely on point better with certain other things. So it's like, don't get lazy like I do and get stuck in a rut. But, you know, everybody's always adding stuff. But
They are.
Time on the bag, period.
I feel like my style has become, and I've talked about that. I've unfortunately we've talked about that they have deemed hashtag speed bag a drug reference. So
I love it, but speedball's not, or hashtag cocaine. You'll probably be fine.
Whatever, So I have started saying that I'm not a punch drummer, because when you watch me bag, I don't look like Alan Kahn at all. I love his style. It's just not one that I recreate. It's not how my body wants to move. And so what I feel most comfortable calling myself is a rhythm bag dancer. And anybody can say whatever the fuck they want about it. I don't care. It is the easiest way that I can describe the flowing type feeling that I'm wanting to do with my arms. It's not sitting there drumming like this. It's more of a dance. And I feel comfortable saying that. And honest to God, Grewcock, I mean, he's going to be talking to a principal of a school of selling a program to the school about speed bagging. My idea is that the school gets involved to where the first couple of weeks are theory, right? They've got to study all the baggers, all the different styles, boxing, freestyle, punch drummer, whatever. They got to study for the first couple of weeks. And they also have to study their platforms and things like that, because they're going to have to design a portable platform for at least 6 to 8 people. Then they're going to have to work with the wood shop or the welding class to make this thing. And at the end of the year, and that's by like the end of the first 6 weeks, it's constructed. Then for the rest of the year, they learn how to speed bag and they learn how to do choreography. And by the end of the year, they have to do a bagging routine, and everybody loves it and cheers it, kind of like in a talent contest. And then at the very end of the year, they donate it to one of the middle schools and do it again the next year. That way, this generation jumps down to where, no, they probably won't be able to build these things, but they can sure as shit learn it. When I was working with kids in Houston, the young teenage kids, man, they caught on to it so fast. That's where we get the hooks in, and this is the way we can get the schools involved.
It's hard for any of us to sit still because of our ADHD, so that's the best thing in schools, is to get these kids building them, developing them. And when I was in high school, that was my problem. I needed something to do. I needed to move my hands. I needed to be building something. And then if we could get them watching the videos as well. And the best thing is, one of the principals already watches a lot of your videos and he loves it. And he's like, man, this is great. Let's get this in. So we do have a nice sit down that we're going to have, and we're going to figure this out. And it's going to be good for an after school program it's in Naugatuck. So it's like inner city kids in that area that need something to do, and a lot of them have, different disorders, different problems, just like all of us. we all have problems in all different ways, and that's why we like to go hit it hard, or we like to go and just make crazy cool videos, or get into a rhythm and just start bagging, or just sit there and talk a nice tutorial about what we like to do. I like to submerge myself into trying to build them, and it's one of the things that calms me down.
And I think that's what's such a big thing about our group, is that we want to see it grow. It ain't about any of us wearing a crown or being the best or anything like that. We love it. I know that for you to Rob, your creativity and all the stuff you do, it has to be like an almost just secondary thought. Of like, it's almost like breathing. Like, I need to do this for this video. Your stuff's creative.
Like, I wonder if I could put a speed bag on that. Like, the first thing that pops into my brain, like, how can I wear a speed bag around and just walk around town and speed bag all day long? Like,
I think that the more exposure we get, the more people that we can, and I like to use the word infect, because that's honestly how I felt, is that I wasn't addicted to something. I became infected with it, that it literally just became part of me. It was just like, it wasn't addiction. It was just like, this will be a part of the rest of my life, and it was something I did not expect or think was going to happen, but I'm glad it did. It led me to all of you guys. It led me to meeting people all around the world, and we're just growing. That's the thing that I love. I know, right? We're still small, but we are seeing people lighten their stuff up. We're seeing it change. We're seeing it go from a way we all started doing this. Am I probably correct? We all started learning to speed bag because we wanted to lose some weight, or we wanted to get in better shape. It gave us something to do. And we're seeing now that it's so much more than that. It's not just for us to get exercise. It's for some of us to burn off literally just the energy of just running around inside their brain all day. The physical activity, the mental activity, the peacefulness in it. And Chappell, I mean, the April, as April likes to say, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Because like the way you hit, you're like, I have loved being a part of all of everybody's evolutions and changes. But we're all in our own way attracting people slowly, and it's growing. I don't see. Somebody asked, what's the future bagging? It's not boxing ring in a boxing ring. It's not. If it was, it would already be there. Alan, for us, in my opinion, even though we didn't see it, took it out of the boxing ring, and now he gave it to us, and now we're taking it in different directions. Spidey upside down.
Well, it shouldn't be in the ring, but it should definitely be in the gym.
Agreed. 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 I love it. Chappell with that smart ass. I was telling them earlier, I was like, Chappell and I are like that Peel and what's his name? Yeah, where they're sitting there talking about the text message where one's like, I don't care. And the other one's like, fuck it, I don't care. Oh, really? Like, that is me and Chappell. That's the two of us. I'm sitting there reading this like, you want to fight about it? What I mean, like, seriously? I don't understand this guy even walk inside April. Like, and she's like, he's not saying it like that, Jeff. You're in that mindset. So everyone is saying it like that right now. I'm like, she's like, it's Chappell. I'm like, yeah, he says everything like that.
Well, you guys, like, again, it has come full circle, right? It really has. And you guys are really, really doing, man, you're inspiring so many. You really are. And then again, like Jeff said, kind of the evolution of where we're at today, right? Again, just even having this platform to be able to share that with others, right? When they have their own time to just watch it. So it really has come full circle, man. So definitely want to end this with this video right here, man.
Yep. That's 5. That's number 5. It's the one that started off.
Bring it back.
Notice it's even recessed in certain areas so the ball has fewer friction points. There was a lot of thought went into that little piece of plastic.
I love that thing.
Yep. A whole lot more thought went into this one, though.
Wow.
Talk about full circle, brother.
Man.
I love it. Guys, I honestly, I can't thank y'all enough. I can't.
You need a spinner in the metal one, though. You need the...
Yeah, I know.
It's the only downside of that metal ball.
I know. It spins. It'll spin forever that way. It's just not as long as the Teflon. I know. There's Chappelle's always like, it could be a little better. Trust me, you haven't tried the blade yet. It's coming. So, but I thank y'all tremendously.
Thank you, bro.
Guys.
Thank you, man.
Man, thank you for having us here.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, thank all you guys. Thank Jeff, the Thrasher House, for you guys making those products that are just incredible, man. I mean, product tester, Johnathan, man, Spidey, keep inspiring everybody. Man, I love your videos, man. Mike, dude,
I don't know how this guy doesn't have 1 million followers. We say that all the time. Like, we wish all baggers did, but Jesus, Spidey, I don't know how it's just your creativity alone should just be like this guy. I just don't get it. But one of these days, trust me, your brilliance will be seen. It's definitely seen by all of us, and we love it. So seriously.
Heck yeah, man. Mike, kicking ass on those platforms, man. And
Yeah,
you're
Mike.
speed bagging, dude. You amazing, dude. Again,
Juan.
LB had to jump off, man. But again, he texts me every day, dude. And I appreciate him a lot for that, man.
Yeah,
I really
beast
do.
man.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
He's golden. Juan, seriously, none of us, I can't tell you how many thanks I get from the community. They're like, thank you. I've just been on my walk today listening to this. You know, I was on the treadmill and I just listened to this. It's like, it's familiar and it's comfortable to them. And it's also voices that they rarely ever hear. You know, they just see us. Lately, I've been doing all those voiceovers, so I've got a few more talking lines on them. But, you know, for the most part, they just see us. So, guys, much love to all of you, and thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you for coming to the Thrasher House Storage Room. This is just the first time. Trust me, you will be back on and hanging out with us again. Thank you all.
That's right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
you
This
guys.
was a
Appreciate
blast
you.
on the story, dude.
Take care, buddy.
Good hanging with you guys.
Thanks, man.
And for you diehard fans, here's a few clips of some of the baggers that were talked about on tonight's show.
Frustrated when I rhyme. Thinking of all them kids that try to do this for all the wrong reasons. Seasons change, mad things rearrange, but it all stays the same like the love Doctor Strange. I'm tame like the rapper. Get red like a snapper when they do that. Got your whole block saying true that. If only they knew that. It was you who was irregular. Soldier sold for some secular music. Actors whack, plus you use that. Loop over and over, claiming that you got a new style. Your attempts are futile. Ooh, child, you're puerile. Brainwaves are sterile. You can't create, you just wait to take my tape. Laced with malice, hands get